What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Ducks and Download, and in this episode we are going to be covering the most pivotal comic in maybe Star Wars history if you're a huge Return of the Jedi fan like I am. Now, not only are we about to see Luke Skywalker take one of the most important journeys in his entire Jedi career, and with this issue we're going to get to see what exactly gave Luke Skywalker the hope that backed all of Star Wars to save Anakin from the clutches of Sidious. Star Wars issue number 43 is absolutely wizard, y'all. It's one of the best comics I have read to date. Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, it just blows them all out of the water. The writing is amazing, the art style is gorgeous, and the way they use each page just makes you feel like you're really diving into a story, almost movie-esque. We're picking back up with Luke Skywalker, deep in a Sith crystal, trying to purify it by removing the pain from an ancient Sith Lord that he finds. The Sith is speaking about how the echoes of pain built the very citadel that they are within. Those echoes of pain are what was used to bleed the Kyber crystal that this Sith uses. He begins to talk to Luke about how pain truly is power, and only with that power can you defeat those who would cause you the pain in the first place. He speaks to Luke about how loss can also be power, but not only any loss, he uses an example, removing Luke's robotic hand and reminding him that he has been crippled and defeated. He can then use that pain, harness that power, and free himself from any chains that bind him, like a good Sith. He speaks on how pain is not only that which breeds power, but it is the weapon itself, igniting one of probably the coolest lightsaber hilts we've seen in a long time. All Electrum, very gaudy, very, over-the-top Sith, of course. Beautiful lightsaber. But he knows it will take more than this to break Luke Skywalker, so he leaves the poor abandoned Jedi alone to reconcile his losses, his pain, and his power. And it really works out from there. Luke focuses on the loss of his hand, bringing back the memory, and in that moment giving him enough power to just decimate the cell doors in front of him. I will also 100% believe that it was meant to do that. The second Luke gave in to that power, that cage would have shattered no matter what. It wants Luke to give in. This Sith-made Kyber crystal wants to break Luke just as bad as the Sith's echo does. Remember, this is not the Sith trapped in the crystal. When you bleed a Kyber crystal, you put the essence of all your pain and suffering into it, and that creates almost like a false reality in the dark side, just proving how powerful Kyber crystals really are. But Luke does not think on this pain and power from his lost hand as a way to destroy, but simply as a way to obtain freedom. He is learning the true balance of the Force. He did not give in or attach himself to this anger or this emotion, but he allowed it to swell through him, use it in its moment, and move on. After breaking free from his cage, he begins to walk down a tunnel, and this is when things get really crazy. As the Kyber crystal begins to show Luke the past of this very Sith Lord, a dead father with an abandoned child, a little kid being bullied and beaten for being a wizard, hated entirely for most of his life. Luke begins to see the pain that this Sith was talking about, the torture that he hides underneath his very armor in order to wield the dark side like a safety blanket. Well, this is when Luke decides no more and begins to help and interfere with the bad people, trying to cause harm to the Sith Lord, showing him there is hope. Now, of course, this enrages the Sith Lord, and just like that, they're back in the cell. As of course, all of this was truly within the Force and Luke's mind. The Sith isn't having it anymore. This compassion will not be his undoing. He has worked so hard to build this kingdom, and he will use Luke's pain to make it even stronger. He speaks to Luke after igniting his saber. Luke and the Sith come to the fact that they're going to have to fight. He can't just let the Sith do as he wishes. The pain is real. The death will be real. If he passes on in this Kyber crystal, he is trapped there forever, more than likely. So Luke ignites his saber too. He is not going to allow this Sith to strike him down, but he's also not trying to hurt him. The Sith speaks, though, on how he's almost happy that the fight will continue like this, for words solve very little, and sometimes, to truly learn, we must bleed. What an edgelord thing to say, definitely a Sith. This Sith Lord and Luke do battle, and in a few moments, Luke is able to best the Sith, but then extinguishes his saber and refuses for the killing blow, showing again the compassion that the Sith deserves, speaking to him on how pain is not forever, and it goes in both directions. He can free himself from this cage. Well, this Sith sorcery will not just allow that to go quietly into the night. The Sith looks at him and reminds him, this isn't just a prison for me. Now that you're here, this is a prison for you too. Let me see your pain. And this is when we get the breathing behind Luke, a terrified look on his face. He now has to be immediately thrown back into the worst fight he ever had against his father, Darth Vader. And just again, where one moment he was gone, back to the cells, he's gone again, but now not through the Sith Lord's memories, in his own, walking down the very halls of Bespin as every single panel shows him loss, torture, and the pain that he didn't even know existed before his birth. He has shown the Skywalkers falling. He has shown his mother dying, the Wampa Bingo not making it out of the Death Star. Every moment where he believed he might have failed or been hurt, he is reliving them. But that does not falter the amazing Luke Skywalker, as he's on his journey to become a Jedi Knight. After seeing all these moments of pain, he is again standing in front of Vader, lightsabers lit, ready for battle. But this time he realizes, no. If this ancient Sith Lord is not beyond saving, then neither is my father. If this ancient, evil Sith, a ruler over many other Sith, was able to build this prison within his Kyber crystal, a place of pain and harrowing trauma, then Vader has the same pain inside of him, and it can also be cured. He extinguishes his saber. He tells his father, I will have to meet you again, but I will not destroy you. And in that moment of acceptance, Anakin's spirit is revealed to him, and light begins to shine out all of the shadows and purify the Kyber crystal. From there, Luke is seen falling back down onto the Citadel, but it's no longer red and menacing. It's blues, it's whites. And he wakes up having purified the crystal. Now, of course, this is also where Luke will get his green Kyber crystal that he uses in this very dream world to defeat those around him. He was just as surprised as everyone when his lightsaber was green, but it was. That Kyber crystal bonded with him and spoke to him. And that is the crystal he's going to use in Return of the Jedi. This story is so powerful. Getting to see Luke Skywalker, just like in Dagobah's cave, literally having to face down that which brought him to his knees before, and winning. This is the Luke Skywalker who becomes the Jedi Knight, the Jedi Master, he who refuses Sidious, he who purifies the very soul of Anakin Skywalker, bringing him back to the light. It is so powerful to get to see this moment lived through like this. Now, not only the fact, this amazing Sith Lord, who he's also able to help, shows us the true tragedy of the Sith. They're just alone, they're damaged, they don't believe there's any other way for them to truly prosper than to punish others as they have been punished. And Luke, refusing to go down that path, is what will turn him into one of the most amazing characters in all of Star Wars. This comic, again, is just absolutely brilliant. I believe there are issues 39, 40, 41, and maybe 43. I know in there somewhere we begin the trial of Lando Calrissian, but it's a 3 to 4 mini arc here inside the main Star Wars, and definitely check out this Kyber Crystal arc. It is top tier Star Wars. Luke facing down an ancient Sith Lord before the rule of two, then facing his own father and not succumbing to fear, pain, or the temptation of power. This has been an astonishing read. Thank you to the entire team behind this amazing comic, and I so look forward to maybe getting some more news about this Sith Lord. I'm looking at you, Charles. So guys, tell me what you think of this new story about Luke Skywalker down in the comments. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, may the Force serve you well.